LBC News Talk 97.3. News.
Good morning, it's 8 o'clock. This is Jonathan Staples. In this bulletin, plans for an Ulster Peace Forum are revealed by the Irish Premier. The Guildford-Waterloo line remains closed after 2 IRA bombs, and universities rethink guidelines following the King's College date rape case. Premier Albert Reynolds is to face the Irish Parliament today to spell out details of a proposal for a peace forum. Opposition parties are complaining they haven't been briefed on the forum hinted at in the joint declaration by John Major and Albert Reynolds. It would be set up at the end of January, providing the IRA, which has yet to respond to the declaration, renounces violence. Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary Kevin McNamara has told LBC he's hopeful despite the IRA's delay.
I would have been very concerned if in fact there had been an outright rejection. Obviously we all would have been. And equally, I think, a bit suspicious as if they'd grasped it immediately to their bosom. I mean, there is a lot in it that needs to be very carefully examined from their position, because they're being asked to do, from their position, a great number of things.
This morning, police are resuming their search for further bombs along the main line from Guildford. It follows a double IRA attack yesterday near Brookwood Station. Army bomb disposal experts were called. No one was hurt. The line between Woking, Farnborough and Ashvale will remain shut until at least midday, causing long delays for thousands of commuters. The appeal court will today give judgment on 2 landmark cases of causing death by careless drink driving. The Attorney-General has called for tougher sentences on 29-year-old student Peter Shepherd of Enfield and 27-year-old Robert Wernett of Oxford. Shepherd was fined £250. Wernett was jailed for 9 months. The maximum penalty is 5 years in jail. The King's College date rape case has prompted a task force of senior university dons to draw up new guidelines on disciplinary hearings. It follows the case of King's College student Austin Donnellan, who was cleared by the Old Bailey of raping a fellow undergraduate. Havovi Todd reports.
During his trial, Mr. Donnellan accused the college authorities of not giving him a fair hearing and trying to deal with the rape allegation without calling in the police. The task force of vice-chancellors and principals will consider which matters can be dealt with internally. But its chairman, Professor Graham Zellick, a law specialist and principal of Queen Mary College London, says it would be wrong for universities to wash their hands of criminal offences. The group will also review guidance on allegations of sexual and racial harassment involving staff.
London's Fire and Civil Defence Authority is investigating the increased threat of arson attacks on schools in the capital. It's given all-party backing for measures drawn up by the Liberal Democrats. Last year there were 1,000 such attacks in Britain, causing £300 million worth of damage. LBC News Time, 3 minutes past 8. The funeral is being held in North London today for Jamaican woman Joy Gardner, who collapsed when police and immigration officials tried to deport her. MPs and scores of relatives and friends will attend the service at the New Testament Church of God in Wood Green. 3 police officers have been suspended since trying to deport Mrs. Gardner from her home in Hornsey in July. The Reverend Eric Brown has told LBC the local community is still angered by her death.
Every decent person, whether they be black or white or whatever colour, race or creed, in a way has been outraged by what has happened to her, and I'm sure that the congregation will reflect that kind of solidarity.
ITV is to broadcast a peak-time apology over rude remarks by the entertainer Julian Clary during the British Comedy Awards. Millions of viewers heard him make a sexually explicit joke about the former Chancellor Norman Lamont during the live show last weekend. Programme maker LWT has been told off by the Independent Television Commission, which says the incident was wholly unacceptable. New research shows that Friday the 13th definitely is unlucky, especially for drivers. A study carried out in London shows the number of people admitted to hospital after road accidents on Friday the 13th is 50% higher than on other Fridays. Dr. Tom Scanlon says there has to be a logical explanation.
Is it a spooky thing? Is Friday the 13th more unlucky? Or is it a chance finding? Or is it, as we as a group tend to believe, perhaps as a group of people who are a bit overcautious and a bit worried, and who are taking too many precautions while they're driving, and in that respect it becomes self-fulfilling.
Financial news now. Trading is underway in the pre-market in London. Here's Robin Amlow.
And in company news, Reuters is paying £83 million, $125 million in cash to buy Technecron Software Systems of Palo Alto in California. The company's a leading supplier of digital trading systems which will complement Reuters' own trading screens. Companies reporting results led by Asda. Profits here towards the top end of expectations at the interim stage, £83.9 million before exceptional items. The dividend goes up 10%. Asda's performance described by the chairman as robust. The company has sold the Maples unit of its Allied Maples Group to a management buyout backed by Cinven venture capitalists. The latest of the regional electricity companies to report results, Manweb shows profits up 48% at £54.9 million. They put the dividend up 15%. On the currency markets at the moment, the pound stands unchanged at $1.48 3/4, but it's down a quarter of a penny at 2.54.
At the sports desk, Dominic Allen.
The world governing body of football, FIFA, has announced some more changes to the traditional format for the first-round matches in next year's World Cup finals. Among them, winning teams in the league stage will get 3 points rather than 2. Bradford Northern, last year's beaten finalists, stand between London Crusaders and a place in the semi-finals of Rugby League's Regal Trophy. Last night, Northern beat Halifax 16-8 in their much-postponed third-round tie at the Odsal Stadium. Later this morning in Port Elizabeth, Martin Bicknell will have a scan to determine the seriousness of his rib injury. It's thought he may have to fly home from the England A-team tour of South Africa. And there's an injury worry too over Alan Eggleston, who's in Portugal with the senior team preparing for next month's tour of West Indies. He strained a muscle in his side bowling in a practice match yesterday, and he's been told to rest until the new year. The South African golfer Ernie Els has a one-stroke lead going into the second round of the Johnny Walker World Championship in Jamaica after a 5-under-par opening round of 66. Colin Montgomery is one stroke behind in joint second place alongside the American Larry Mize. Gordon Brand Jr. and Nick Faldo are 4 strokes off the lead. Today's racing is at Uttoxeter, Catterick and Market Raisin.
Still to come in this bulletin, London's weather.
QE, JD, meet Walter Beagle, the world's most accident-prone man.
Delighted to be working with you.
Oops, clumsy. Who better than Walter to go on TV and announce that Vauxhall Corsas and Astras now come with 1 year's free insurance, JD?
An interesting idea, Atkins, but sadly unworkable.
Why?
Mr. Beagle has just fallen out of the window.
He seems okay, JD. Thank goodness your car broke his fall.
What?
Vauxhall Corsa and Astra, now with 1 year's free insurance.
Offer excludes the Astra GSI, subject to age, usage, driver status restrictions and registration by 31st January 1994.
LBC's forecast now. Here's Isabel Lang.
Well, not a very pleasant morning ahead of us. In fact, there's going to be a lot of cloud around across London and quite a bit of rain in places as well. Most of the rain will be to the south of the Thames, though, where it may turn a bit misty and also quite murky, especially over the North Downs. This afternoon, well, I think the rain will gradually die out as it moves away northeastwards, and the weather's going to start to warm up. In fact, our top temperatures today will be around evening time, when they'll reach a high of around 11 degrees, that's 52 Fahrenheit. Tonight, staying very mild, but becoming breezy with a freshening southwest wind. Lowest temperatures down to about 8 in the city. The weekend, staying mild and unsettled. That's it from me, Isabel Lang at the Weather Centre.
Oh, very good morning to you. This is Bram Wolf over the DHL London Lookout helicopter. Streatham Hill, just had a good look at that one. There was an accident there, all clear now, and everything is moving quite nicely. West Hill, about 3/4 of the way back up into the Wandsworth one-way system, about 3/4 of the way back up the hill there, going into town. The A40 seems to be moving reasonably well still. It's almost back from Acton to the gyratory system, quite normal for this time of the morning. And the A4 from North End Road right back just past the Hogarth roundabout now, that is building as the morning goes on. And the Blackwall Tunnel northbound, that's over the Woolwich flyover, back to normal again. This is Bram Wolf, your London Lookout, delivered by DHL Worldwide Express.
This Christmas, why don't you try something different? A scenic flight over London in your own private aircraft. Experience the trip of a lifetime. Call SFC now on 081 504 3000. Fly high with SFC.
Good morning, this is Mike Carlton, Friday, December 17, and this is the witching hour, if you like, the final 60 minutes, where we proceed as normal for the first 30 minutes or so. But I thought after 8:30, break the rule of a lifetime, all that sort of stuff. And you might like to have a bit of a chat on the open line, the talkback bit. You can ring up and say goodbye. You can ring up and say good riddance, too, if you like. We're Catholic about this. Or you could indeed take the third option, which is to turn off and totally ignore the whole self-indulgent thing. But we'll see what happens. It's 29 minutes past 8 o'clock. Mr. Husker.
Trouble is, in this strange world we live in, it would be misunderstood even worse.
I suppose you're right, yes.
Well, I'm looking around the motorways. The M25 clockwise approaching junction 3, the M20 junction with the M25, a broken down heavy goods vehicle that's still causing delays. I understand it's now been partially removed. If you're going north on the M11 between junctions 5 to 6 through Loughton up towards the M25 junction, a couple of vehicles involved in an accident northbound causing long delays as well. Around the city, rather slow going because of these overrunning roadworks there that cause a number of problems around Leadenhall Street, Fenchurch Street, right the way back to Aldgate Pump. And the A13 coming into town, rather slow going as well. The Blackwall Tunnel Southern approach about normal for this time of the morning, and I understand the tidal flow has gone in again, and that may ease a few problems there. On British Rail, Brookwood, services via Brookwood will be disrupted until noon. Portsmouth to Waterloo via Farnham Eastleigh terminate at Basingstoke and Farnborough. Services from Bournemouth and Southampton diverted or terminate at Basingstoke. Exeter, Salisbury, Andover terminate at Basingstoke, but 2 extra trains run to Paddington, and there is a shuttle service between Reading, Guildford and Basingstoke. Traffic and trains every 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. 8:30 news is next. We might have a word after that.
LBC News Talk 97.3 News.
It's 8:30. This is Jonathan Staples. A Conservative MP says the IRA's double bomb attack on a railway line in Surrey proves they can't be trusted.